Welcome to News Edge, your sharpest source for daily headlines and deep dives. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay ahead of the curve. The world is watching as a shadow falls over Europe. Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine shattered decades of peace and challenged the international order. This was not just an attack on Ukraine, it was a signal of dangerous ambition to redraw borders by force. The stability Europe has known for generations is now under threat. Russia's actions in Crimea, Georgia, and beyond showed a clear pattern, but the West hoped diplomacy would prevail. The invasion proved those hopes misplaced. The Kremlin respects only power. The threat now extends to all of Europe, with NATO facing a direct standoff against a hostile Russia. The alliance, created to prevent such conflict, must now confront the real possibility of major war in Europe. The stakes are high. A single miscalculation could lead to catastrophe. As of September 16, 2025, the war in Ukraine grinds on, and Russia continues to test the West's resolve. Moscow uses military force, economic pressure, and covert operations to weaken its adversaries. NATO's challenge is immense. It must stand firm, show unity, and make clear that further aggression will be met with decisive response. The peace and security of millions depend on NATO's strength. The world holds its breath, hoping leaders can navigate this perilous era. The warning signs were there for years, but now the danger is undeniable. The future of European security hangs in the balance. NATO must adapt to this new reality. The alliance's credibility is on the line. The cost of failure would be catastrophic. Only unity and strength can deter further aggression. The world is watching, and history will judge the response. The time to act is now. NATO has drawn a clear line, condemning Russia's war and providing massive, concrete support to Ukraine. Advanced military equipment, training, and intelligence have been lifelines for Ukraine's defense. This partnership began after Crimea's annexation in 2014 and deepened dramatically after the 2022 invasion. NATO members have delivered the vast majority of military aid, enabling Ukraine to resist and survive. Economic sanctions have targeted Russia's war machine, aiming to cripple its ability to fund aggression. The alliance rejects Russia's illegal claims to Ukrainian territory and stands firm on Ukraine's sovereignty. While Ukraine is not yet a NATO member, the path to membership is clearer, and long-term security support is pledged. This is not just about Ukraine's survival, it's about the future of European security. NATO's commitment is to the principle that nations have the right to choose their own destiny. The alliance stands with Ukraine for the long haul. The message is clear: aggression will not be rewarded. NATO's support is both a shield for Ukraine and a signal to Moscow. The alliance's unity is its greatest strength. The stakes go beyond borders. They are about the rules that govern the world. Ukraine's fight is Europe's fight. The outcome will shape the continent's future. NATO's resolve is being tested. The world is watching to see if it holds. The alliance cannot afford to fail. In response to Russian aggression, NATO has fortified its eastern flank with more troops, tanks, and warplanes. Countries like Poland, Romania, and the Baltic states now host significant NATO forces, a clear message of deterrence. This is a defensive move designed to reassure members and prevent any attack. Allies are investing in modernizing their militaries and increasing defense spending. The focus is on deterrence, stopping war before it starts. NATO avoids direct conflict in Ukraine, but prepares for any crisis by strengthening its own borders. The alliance is also building global partnerships and isolating Russia diplomatically. Forward defense, being ready at the border, has become the new doctrine. The horrors in Ukraine have shown that proactive defense is essential to protect civilians. By placing strong forces on the front lines, NATO raises the cost of aggression. This is peace through strength, not provocation. The alliance is no paper tiger, it is a credible shield. NATO's unity and readiness are its greatest deterrence. The world is watching how it responds. The lesson is clear: only strength can prevent disaster. The alliance must remain vigilant. The stakes could not be higher. The risk of direct war between NATO and Russia is higher than at any time since the Cold War. Russia's imperial mindset and disregard for sovereignty make peaceful negotiation difficult. A Russian attack on the Baltic states would trigger NATO's Mutual Defense Clause, Article 5. Deterrence by denial is now the strategy, enough force in place to prevent any attack from succeeding. The experience in Ukraine has shown the terrible cost of occupation and the need for proactive defense. Protecting civilians is a moral imperative. NATO must demonstrate readiness and willingness to defend its members. Hope is not a strategy, strength is. The only way to prevent a wider war is through unity and credible deterrence. The focus must shift from wishing for peace to preparing for conflict. Preparation is not about starting war, but preventing it. The alliance's resolve will determine Europe's fate. The world is watching for leadership. The time for complacency is over. If war breaks out, Russia won't stand alone. It has built an axis of authoritarian allies. Iran, North Korea, and China provide Moscow with military and economic support, helping sustain its war in Ukraine. North Korea supplies artillery and missiles. Iran provides deadly drones. China offers economic lifelines. This network allows Russia to withstand Western pressure and continue its campaign. The conflict is now part of a larger struggle between democracies and authoritarian powers. This new axis seeks to overturn the current world order. NATO must think globally, not just regionally, in its defense strategies. The threat is from a coalition, not just Moscow. Any conflict could quickly spread beyond Europe. The security environment is more unpredictable than ever. NATO must be ready to face a united front of adversaries. The stakes are global, not just European. The alliance's response must match the scale of the threat. This is the new reality of 21st century geopolitics. Russia's war isn't just fought with tanks, it's waged in the shadows through hybrid warfare. Covert tactics like election interference, disinformation, and sabotage are destabilizing Western democracies. Recent attacks on undersea cables and plots across Europe show the threat is real and growing. These actions blur the line between peace and war, making NATO's response difficult. Russia supports extremist movements and amplifies anti-democratic voices to sow division. The goal: paralyze the West and undermine democratic foundations. This is a long-term strategy to wear down Western resolve. Countering it requires vigilance, resilience, and defending democratic values. Hybrid warfare is a persistent, insidious challenge. The West must adapt to fight in this gray zone. Unity and awareness are key to resisting these attacks. The battle is for the hearts and minds of societies. The threat is constant and evolving. Only a united, vigilant alliance can withstand it. Russian hybrid warfare creates a dilemma for NATO. Can covert attacks trigger Article 5? Article 5 is the alliance's core. An attack on one is an attack on all. But hybrid attacks exist in a gray zone, making attribution and response difficult. Most experts believe NATO is unlikely to invoke Article 5 for ambiguous incidents. Russia exploits this ambiguity, testing NATO's red lines without open assault. The West's response has often been slow and fragmented, playing into Moscow's hands. Russia's tactics outpace the West's ability to react, highlighting the need for a coordinated strategy. NATO was built for conventional war, but now faces subtle, complex threats. The alliance must adapt to deter and respond in this gray zone. Failure risks weakening NATO from within and losing credibility. The future of the alliance depends on meeting this challenge. Unity and innovation are essential. The threat is evolving, so must NATO. The stakes are existential for the alliance. The world is watching for a response. The time to adapt is now. Escalating threats from Russia demand a new, proactive NATO strategy. The alliance must move beyond crisis management to a comprehensive plan against all forms of aggression. Deep cooperation among all members is essential, sharing intelligence, coordinating sanctions, and building resilience. Protecting infrastructure, securing elections, and educating the public are vital. The response must deter Russia without provoking escalation. Military readiness, diplomatic pressure, and strong defenses against hybrid threats are all needed. Unity and resolve will protect Europe's stability. Half measures are too dangerous for today's world. The public must understand the threat and the need for increased defense. This is about preserving peace, not seeking conflict. Informed, resilient societies are the best defense. Unity at home and among allies is the foundation of security. The alliance's credibility depends on it. The world is watching for leadership. NATO must rise to the challenge. Ultimately, the Kremlin respects only strength. Decades of diplomacy have shown that Moscow sees negotiation as weakness. NATO must now prepare for the possibility that deterrence could fail. This means realistic training, secure supply chains, and integrating new technologies. Most importantly, it requires political will to act decisively and collectively. The goal is not to provoke war, but to make aggression unimaginably costly for Russia. Overwhelming, credible military power is the best deterrent. A powerful united NATO is the only thing that can stop Moscow's ambitions. The alliance must be so strong that any attack would be suicidal for Russia. The time for complacency is over. Europe's security and global stability are at stake. Readiness and resolve are the only way to ensure peace. This is the language Moscow understands, and the only way to safeguard the future.